Bang. We are live, everyone. Hello and welcome to B+S Gaming episode 12. A dozen. Oh my god. How did that happen?
We're getting there. In fact, this weekend I have to, I've got like 3 shows actually completely like rendered and produced. I have to get the rest done so I can start putting them up. I'm way behind on that.
Very
It was
good.
not my intention to fall this far behind.
I don't think it was ever our intention to fall this far behind, ever. You know how it goes, though.
Yeah, this is a rough time of year too because we've got, my wife does her big annual acrobat festival, and then like right on the heels of it, the following weekend, my sister got married, and then of course it's the following week of breaking everything down and packing everything up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this will be the first weekend that I get to sort of chill.
And I've been kind of busy at work, so there's that. But I did get my hair cut and my beard trimmed, so I look kind of human again.
There you go.
Man, you would not believe, like, it's only been 4 weeks, and you would not believe how much hair came off of my head and my beard. It was insane when you see it.
You're a hairy man.
I am. I'm a hairy bastard. That's what I am. So, I guess we'll start off with, I guess, not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before. John Bain, a.k.a. Total Biscuit, lost his fight with cancer and passed away.
Which is very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it obviously goes without saying that, condolences to his friends and family, because cancer is terrible. I lost my dad to cancer, and, it's just one of those things that it just sort of feels like you've been robbed of that life, and, it sucks. So,
yeah.
What do you not do when somebody dies of cancer?
You don't sit there and dance on their grave being all happy about it, like some people did. And, to those people I say, you're garbage human beings. And honestly, what I hope happens, and this is going to sound really dickish, but I'd love it if they suddenly lost all motor control so they couldn't speak or type, so suddenly all these virtue signaling assholes can't actually get their word out, but also that it doesn't kill them, but it just gives them incredible nerve pain for the next 30 or 40 years.
That's pretty intense. I would, I'll go for acne on the balls. Acne on the balls.
Yeah, but some of them are women.
Acne on the genitalia.
Okay.
Genital warts.
Yeah, and I mean, it was amazing some of the things I saw. I'm not even going to pull all of them up. There were some just real shit bags out there saying stuff. One of which was a former BioWare and EA employee. And after he came out and said something, actually, like the head of BioWare Studio actually came out and mentioned something. Hello, Mohammed, how are you? And he said how, it doesn't reflect on BioWare's or EA's feelings on the matter.
Right. Well, so I know that there was one guy who was a BioWare dev who said some nasty shit and went on a real long rant on Twitter, and then he lost his job. Like, he was an employee, said that heinous shit, and then got fired for it.
That might have been the same guy.
Yeah, it was a real long thing, and I didn't even bother to look it up. I didn't want to, and I think he deleted his account anyway, which is, how interesting is that? Whenever people go on, like, they go on these crazy Twitter rants, and then they say something clearly stupid, and then they delete their Twitter. I guess I've never been harassed on Twitter, fortunately, right? But but I understand how powerful the trolling can be on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I ran a forum many years ago, and that stuff just got flooded with garbage. So I get the destructive sort of presence of trolls, right? But like, to delete it, like, that's just the easiest solution. And then try to even like clean it up or whatever.
Try to memory hole it. Yeah, like make it like it never happened. But the internet never forgets.
I see. So not to derail it, right? But so this guy says something really stupid, and he gets, the blowback is tremendous, and so he winds up deleting his account. Why not just like you tell me, why not just like go off Twitter for a couple of days and wait for people to stop posting stuff? Like, is it because you don't want other people to come to your account and see all this trolling stuff against you? Like,
See,
why
honestly,
is it better to delete it than to just like step off Twitter for a couple days and wait for the heat to die down?
for me, I don't know. I know one of them protected their account so that you couldn't get in there and see what he said or what was being said to him. And that was the one who suddenly his LinkedIn profile removed BioWare and EA and everything else like that. So that might have been that guy. There was another guy who still works at BioWare, as far as I know. And he posted some shit. And then, like, the next day, he posted up, like, a screenshot of this, quote, apology. But when you read it, it was very much HR speak, like human resources speak, which was basically them probably saying, you either put this up on your Twitter or you're fucking gone.
Yeah, right, exactly. Which is probably very likely. They're like, you need to stop with the Twitter here. This is from our PR. This is from our lawyers or whatever.
Right.
Say this. Or
put this up or you're gone. And that's what that sounded like. There were a couple others that did it. Bat Moonrock Woo said some shit, I think.
Who?
Brianna Wu.
Oh, I don't know.
Bat shit fucking crazy, whatever. Running for Congress, but believes that moon rocks can be thrown from the moon and have the power of thousands of nuclear weapons or some bullshit. It's fucking moron. Just put it that way, moron.
Yeah, well,
they're going to be lucky to get their husband to vote for him, and that's it.
So here, but you know, why would you? There's no way anybody, no matter how mad you are at someone, there's no way you could go and think that you could, like, say something so negative, like, "Oh, I'm so glad he died," like, especially of cancer, because there's so many people who have that experience of, you know, losing a loved one to it. You can't possibly think you'd get any sympathy. At the very least.
Well, they got sympathy, but only from other people who were virtue signaling and thinking the same way. But then a lot of those people got piled on.
How do you
too.
virtue signal celebrating someone's death? That seems like
because
counterintuitive.
Total Biscuit was a harasser. He literally caused the death of trans people. Well, of course, they never fucking show any proof of any of what they say.
Really? I never heard that.
Oh yeah. There were people saying this, and it's all listen and believe. It's not, here's our proof. It's, I said it, it's true, you've got to believe me. And it's like, no, I don't, you're a fucking moron. So, you know, some of these people, they just went off. And look, I didn't like John personally. But I did
Why?
not, because he could be an arrogant asshole, egotistical, stuff like that. But guess what? That wasn't like something I went out and said, oh, I'm glad John Bain is dead, blah, 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 because I'm not glad he's dead.
Right.
There's no reason for me to be glad the dude's dead. He died at 33 years old, which is 10 years younger than us.
Yep.
Okay? I lost a
Very
friend.
young.
Oh, yeah. I lost a friend to cancer, if you remember, going on over 15 years ago. You remember John Montag?
Oh, yeah.
He was only like 23 when he died.
That's right.
And that was like sudden. Like, he thought that the cancer was gone. We did our Christmas show where I played Santa Claus, and we were doing everything. He seemed fine, and 2 weeks later he was dead. Okay? I lost my grandma. I've lost both my grandmothers to cancer. You know, these are
no
not
shit,
things.
man.
Yeah.
It's no shit. Nothing to joke about.
It's not. And look, on a personal level, no, I didn't like John, but that's fine. I don't have to like John, but I don't have to shit on his grave either. You know what I mean? I there's nothing for me to say to be like, oh, I'm glad John's dead. There's nothing like that. He left behind a wife. He left behind a stepson. You know, and he was the main provider for that family.
There's a good example of when you talk about toxicity in the gaming community, right? And then there's always that one side. You like to use the term virtue signaling, right? That's sort of doing these things that indicate I'm the moral one.
Right.
But then when there's an opportunity to actually take that high ground, look what happens.
Right. They don't take it because they don't actually have a high ground to take. And
well, right. Because I think that people that engage in these petty online battles they're all at the same level on opposite sides. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're all down in the mud.
Exactly.
If you can take 5 minutes out of your day to trash a dude who died when the family's still grieving, what kind of scumbag are you?
And
So
in the one case, it was like an hour and a half after the announcement that he died.
yeah, my understanding was the guy that worked at BioWare pretty much as soon as he found out went right to Twitter
Yep.
and launched into that tirade, which again goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. How stupid can you be? Even if you can get like some confirmation bias type people who, all want to tell each other how happy they are and how good it is he's gone, that's not going to be the general consensus. That's not going to be the public perception. It's going to be this dude died. Why are you being an asshole? And you lost a job over it. So, did he really win anything?
No, he didn't. And the other guy almost lost his job. And then the third major one that I want to bring up is there was somebody going on about something, misogyny, blah, blah, blah. And of course, weaponized autism kicked in. And so people found out you're a registered sex offender for at least distributing child pornography, if not producing it. He had spent like 4 years in jail, and he's moved out of the U.S. to avoid having that sex offender thing on him. He now lives in like Estonia or something like that. And he, of course, real quick, the Nazis and the misogynists are coming after me, so I'm going to protect my account for a little while. And it's like, no, people fucking pulled up your goddamn record and showed, here you are, here's what you were convicted of. You're a fucking pedophile. Or at least a child porn liker, distributor.
And what did he do first? Like he's this, what? He was like a...
Oh, he was one of the guys like dancing on the grave.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then, of course, weaponized
actually,
autism. Yeah.
He's actual literal human garbage.
Mm-hmm. And, this is just like the major ones. There were others that didn't really, some of them were saying stuff like, oh, he was so capitalist. It's like, what's wrong with that? He provided.
Yeah,
He provided info to help.
I watched some of his videos. He was doing some commentary talking about gamer entitlement, and I didn't really even agree with him necessarily, but I thought he was making some points that were valid from a certain perspective. But it was also the first time I saw anyone playing Warframe. Ding. So, there's a lot of people on the internet that I don't agree with, and I never really feel compelled. Maybe it's a personality type. I've never really felt the need to engage online or do response videos, but there are certainly a lot of people that I strongly disagree with. At the same time, I recognize that we can disagree and still be civil. And the thing that disappoints me is that for all of this, all this grandstanding that we're dealing with the internet right now, with people kind of trying to, stand on their soapbox and preach how holier than thou they are. All they're really doing is feeding into it. And I don't like bringing up this name, but I sort of feel like somebody who saw that, tapped into it, and capitalized on it, and perhaps the most lucrative and successful way was Nina Sarkeesian. Mm-hmm. I don't think that she's any different. I think that she antagonized, and while I do not think that she deserved the harassment she got, I do say I say she doesn't deserve it in the same way I say you stick your hand in a fire, you don't necessarily deserve to get burned, but you're gonna get burned, right?
Yeah.
Or let me rephrase this. I'm not happy you got burned, but if you're sticking your hand in fire, what happens, right? So when you go to 4chan and you poke 4chan to drum up interest, you know what I mean? And so you have this group of people who are looking to basically use controversy to sell their wares. It's kind of disgusting to me, and it always seemed like they were just as much of a troll of a certain stripe as the ones that they said were harassing them, or the ones that they said they were fighting back against. I never watched enough Total Biscuit to see where he trolled people. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And if he
did, but it was years ago. And look, we've all said stupid shit in the past. Okay, I can admit it.
God, I'm so glad we have what we have now that I'm older. Because if we had all this shit when I was in my 20s, oh my fucking God.
Oh yeah.
Awful. I'm embarrassed just thinking about what I would have done.
Right. Okay, and there was, at one point he told somebody to get cancer and died. This was before he got diagnosed with cancer. But he apologized for it later.
And yeah, and I'm not trying to defend him for saying that stupid shit, but at the same time, we say awful things sometimes in the abstract,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
and,
we're not
and
actually
in the
trying to
moment,
manifest it.
and in the moment,
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you, when somebody really pisses you off, but it doesn't mean you're actually gonna kill them.
Yeah, I've said some pretty nasty things to people playing Halo.
Yeah, and we all have.
Yeah.
So, but rest in peace, John. I'm hoping that he had enough put away for his wife and his stepson and everything. I know she's going to be taking over his channel, but I don't know if it's going to maintain the income that it had.
Yeah, there'll probably be like a spike, people like sending money to Patreon and stuff, but that's,
Right.
There's no benefactor, right? There's nobody going to continually give them money for the next X number of years.
Right,
so.
right. So, moving on from the sad news, we got some happy news, which is you have a Norse god-in-law.
Oh yeah. My sister married Thor, who is by all rights physically the closest representation to an actual human Thor I've ever seen. He's 6'7".
Is he 6'7"? I thought he was 6'6", but I was like, God, he's huge.
Maybe 6'6". I mean, he's got a couple inches on me, so probably 6'6". I'm 6'4".
His arms are as big as my head.
Yeah, he works out. His dream is to be a pro wrestler, so he's built like a pro wrestler. He looks like a pro wrestler. So.
But he is the sweetest, nicest, coolest, chill guy to hang out with. Like, Nick is great. I'm happy for your sister, Megan, and Nick that they got together. How was the wedding?
It was beautiful. It was a really good time. We got lucky with the weather. The weather held when we went to the monument, which is this park.
Mm-hmm.
It was sunny and warm, and it was nice. It was perfect.
Nice.
And they went to the place where 28 years ago, my parents went to that same park to take their wedding pictures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's very nice.
And the reception was great, and the food was great. It was just a really, like, it couldn't have gone any more perfectly. It was just a really good night.
Awesome. I'm very happy for your sister and Nick. Megan and Nick, if you hear this, congratulations. Super happy. Lots of long years together.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, let's get to the notes. So, gaming news, Cliff Basinski's Boss Key Studio shut down.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's you know what? I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy because I think any game studio that's willing to get out there and trying to bring new interesting games, that's wasted potential. That's just one more studio that might have had a good idea. Although it's unfortunate because part of the evidently if stuff I read was part of the problem that Bosky had to overcome and couldn't ultimately was people hate Cliffy B because he is a dick. He's just a pompous, arrogant prick.
Yeah.
And
he really thought that what was that Lawbreakers. He was like, Lawbreakers going to be the next $1 billion franchise, and they had like
and he went to publishers. He's like, oh, and he said that. He said, this is what I'm going to do. And he was so brash, and he perhaps didn't realize that his attitude, whatever his bullshit, was clearly tempered by Epic Games, where he used to work, where he was, head of, I think, Gears of War. I think he just rode. I mean, kudos to whatever role he played in creating Gears, right? I know it was originally his idea, but he also made mention that like the game evolved in ways that he didn't like, which means that clearly, in addition to whatever his input was, there was a lot of input from other places. He said,
but that's how a studio works,
right? He said that the big muscly dude bro thing was not his idea, and he didn't like that look. Okay, fine. Nobody really did, but we dealt with it because the armor was awesome, and the
chainsaw bayonets were awesome.
The chainsaw bayonet was such a win. If that's his idea, great. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. Like, you kind of hope that he's able to work through his own arrogance and push those good ideas. But he started getting really whiny. Blaming Epic for poaching his developers when other developers who left said that's not what's happening. The writing was on the wall. And what are they going to do? What do they stick around until the very end? Like, oh, the ship is sinking. Let's just wait until our head's underwater, or let's go back, or let's go over to a place who's doing well. We can get a job. We can feed our family.
Exactly. And now look, the Lawbreakers. I played the beta. it was interesting, but it was nothing special. If you see what I'm saying.
I watch videos of it. I'm gonna play with my lights while you talk.
It was like nightclubby.
Is it?
With the way the sun's behind you. Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy. Nope, don't like it.
It was a hero-based shooter, so kind of like Overwatch in that. But it had like zones where like the gravity was lessened and such. So that was kind of neat. I think the biggest, innovation that it had was that it was actually designed to run at 90 frames a second.
Okay.
So that when you did like your hardware profile on it, it would set your game. So even though I was only playing at 1080p and I'm on a 980 Ti, which can run games at over 60 frames a second at ultra settings, it only put me to high so that I would get the 90 frames a second. Okay. But that's, so that's kind of a neat idea that they were going for performance. Great. Got it. The game just didn't have anything that really grabbed you.
Really?
Yeah. And then the other game that they came out with was, it's a battle royale game. But again,
based in the 80s.
Yeah, it's like based in the 80s as like a game show. So you collect money, and they were like, you could like go to Mac machines and put your money in there that you could pull out in later games. So, they did play with the battle royale genre a little bit. Like it wasn't just a straight up 100 people go in, shoot, die. There were other things involved. But again, the graphics were not great.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't even like, it was like pre-alpha, right?
Yeah.
Like they literally slapped that thing together in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And threw it up on,
wasn't that what they
early access,
said that they did?
Yeah, something like that. And while, again, the ideas were kind of neat with it, it just didn't stand out and nobody was playing it. And, again, like you said, it's probably because people don't like Cliffy B. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and why, here, it's, I get that they said, here's the idea, here's the germ of the idea. Come play it, check it out, see if you like it. That was clearly too little too late, right? You can play it for like an hour or something and be like, oh, I like the, whatever you like about it. And be like, okay, well, this is clearly not polished. I'm going to go back and play something that's way better like PUBG or Fortnite. Mm-hmm. And if a studio was like, if that was something that they had as a side project or had funding, they could be like, okay, and then build on it. But the thing was, Cliffy and Epic really, they kind of revitalized the third-person shooter genre, did a lot of really cool stuff with Gears, and then I think Boss Key just felt like it was constantly chasing. They were, with Lawbreakers, they were just chasing the Overwatch formula.
Exactly.
And Cliffy B admitted much by denying it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I remember him saying, "We're not like Overwatch." I don't remember what he said, but he basically said that they are everything. He said that they're not everything that they actually were.
Right.
And it wasn't even an exciting, apparently. Hero shooter.
Like it wasn't horrible. I'm not going to say it was a bad game, but it just didn't have anything that made it stand out. And Muhammad in our chat and YouTube says he had cancer 10 years ago. He knows what it means. The medicine was painful, but he's good now. So we're glad to hear that your cancer is in remission.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
yeah, and that's kind of the thing with that sort of bland shooter thing is, the other problem, because you had mentioned about, again, people just didn't really like Cliffy, and I'm sure that's part of it, but, again, the other part of it is probably what you just said, that the game was bland also, and this maybe perhaps just falls back into the first issue, and maybe a really big one, it's his big fat fucking mouth, it was available for PC and PlayStation, and I remember, and I read a snippet of it. I didn't watch the video clip. I actually can't stand the sound of his voice.
Makes you
so he went
throat
on.
Punch him.
He ripped into Xbox gamers, calling them salty, and just all this, just saying all this crap. And he by way of a mea culpa, he later came out and said, obviously if the game is successful, we're looking to get it on as many platforms as possible. But he made it sound as though he chose PS4 over Xbox because just Xbox gamers are salty. Dude, despite the fact that Unreal Tournament was already a smash hit long before, Gears was anything, the last decade or more now, he made his bones. He made his career and his reputation for being, this great game developer on Xbox. So if anybody knows Cliffy B really well, and if there was anybody maybe you would want to have endeared yourself to, is like, we're still a community, Xbox gamers, and a lot of people still got a lot of love for Gears. And despite how sucky the story was over time. But yeah, so you went and you just like, you pissed in your own Fruit Loops, man. Like, I can't, again, it's almost the same thing as like going on some sort of like offensive tirade on Twitter. Like, people can hear you. Like, it's not
this is not your inside your head voice.
Right. This is, people can hear what you're going to say and they're going to respond. Like, it matters what you say. And I love that Cliffy B loves to sort of present himself as this very business savvy guy, because he always says stuff like that. It's his business, and loves to talk about marketing, and he likes to kind of use a little bit inside baseball terms. You know what I mean? Like, to deliberately go over people's heads a little bit to sort of impress them. And the thing is, fucking marketing 101, dude. Don't piss off your customers.
Exactly.
Duh. I mean. So anyway, I think a lot of that contributed to it. And that's unfortunate because, aside from having developers with good ideas, these are people who work, who need a job. And because of his big, fat, stupid mouth, they don't have a job. I'm sure many of them go somewhere else. But
I think he had gotten a lot of them from Epic to begin with. And a lot of them just sort of went back to Epic. Especially now that Epic with Fortnite is expanding.
I love Fortnite. I hated it at first.
You did. You were like, "Why are you playing that? I hate that." And I'm like,
I was. And then I just went and I you know what it is? I figured out my play style. Now I watch these videos of guys who are like spinning around and building complex structures and quickly switching back to weapons, and then like doing a shotgun and then switching to another shotgun and switching to another shotgun to basically get like rapid fire shot. Like, I see all the tricks they're doing. I don't do none of that. Nope. I hide as far out to the edge of the map. I'm constantly getting up to at least like like in the top 20.
I've used that method myself.
I got a headshot the other day. It was like the first kill I got in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'm awesome.
There was in the beginning when I would play, like I would get into the top 10 normally by just not looking for people. Like, dude, I'm just going to slowly move here and then slowly move here. And bush, I'll hide in the bush for a minute and look around. You know what I mean? Like, yep. But it gets you in the top 10. You might not have a lot of kills, but it gets you in the top 10. The other thing I do now
with Fortnite is, there's so much to do in the game other than in the Battle Royale mode than just killing people. And if you're good at killing people, I was never a good third-person shooter player. But I love the mechanics. So there's all of the mission. What are they called? The little
Save
quests.
the world. For your rank, yes.
Yeah, so there's 2 ranks, right? There's like your
season rank.
Your season rank.
Your
and then when you max that out,
rank.
right? And when you max that out, everything then just gets converted into XP. So then you can level up your XP and you're gonna unlock all these cool things. So there's other things to do, and basically you almost have a better chance of succeeding, of leveling up and all that stuff by avoiding people, which is hard sometimes because everybody's going to like, to a particular spot because you got to unlock X number of chests and everybody's there. But still, therein lies the challenge, right? You still get to engage a little bit with people, but there's a lot to do in that game. And once I figured that out, I loved it.
Yeah.
And that's
this is the second season that they've done this with the like the battle pass with the little things, little challenges you can do to gain battle pass rank.
Right.
And I think after how well it worked last season, they said we should keep going with this because, like you said, you didn't like the base game, the base battle royale game.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you have other things that you can do, you're more engaged, you're more willing to do them.
Right.
You're more willing to play. And I think that was a great idea on their part. Look, they have had some wonderful ideas with how they've been doing Fortnite. And it's been paying off. As Muhammad says, watch Ninja. He's the best in the world. And look, Ninja, the dude makes like $500,000 a fucking month off of his Twitch and all the other stuff. But, he's massively good at the game. And there are a couple other people that are really, really good at the game. And you watch some of those videos and you're just like, I can't even do like 1/20th of the shit that they do.
Dude, I get like so like anxious in a firefight. I'm like, I go to like switch weapons. I wind up putting up a wall.
I do that
I'm like,
too.
oh man, how do I
Yeah.
get back to my gun? I forget. Like, you know what I mean?
Like you hit the B button by mistake for some reason, and you're just like, oh no,
Yeah.
why? You know, yeah,
My
I've done
problem
that.
is I play a lot of Save the World too, and then I'll just my muscle memory will get confused because of the two different control schemes.
Right.
And you can get them close, but they're still not perfect, which means when things get tense, you can fuck it up.
Yeah, yeah. Like you don't have the whole left bumper, right bumper, and the save the world to switch your weapons and that sort of stuff.
No.
Which is a much better way to do it in Battle Royale than constantly hitting Y, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, that's what they've done with Fortnite. And congratulations to Epic. They found their hit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Tim Sweeney was talking about that for a while, like trying to figure out the right business model to try and keep them afloat so they can stay. Well, they're not quite so independent anymore since they're like partially owned by Tencent, which always makes me a little bit nervous, but we'll see.
Yeah, but so is PUBG Corp, so...
Yeah. So anyway, but that's just an example of what happens when a studio is able to find success and then introduce new good ideas to the gaming community at large.
And that
it's
people
unfortunate
become... And hold on. Hold on.
For the podcast listeners, we're experiencing technical difficulties.
Yes, we are. Now we go. There we go. Now we're back to green. Must have just been like a glitch in the...
Matrix.
Yeah, in the interwebs, the intertubes. A little bit of a glitch. Sorry, everyone. We're back. It's nice that OBS does try to reconnect.
Yeah, it is.
Real thing.
So anyway, to just wrap up that whole Lawbreaker segment and how, the Cliffy B Epic connection is that, Epic had good ideas and they were able to implement them. Mm-hmm. And Cliffy B maybe got in the way of his own company, and now there might have been some good ideas that had the game been able to sort of like get out there and get an audience and then evolve, it could have been a really great shooter. Who knows? Nobody will know. And maybe Cliffy, whatever, but he's not even, he's not taking advice from me, but maybe he should reconsider, I don't know, maybe he should go on a sabbatical and do a little soul searching and maybe come back and not be such a raging prick.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully that the rest of the developers that were working for him were able to get other jobs real quick.
Yeah.
Really do. We don't want to see people lose their jobs when it's not their fault.
Right, exactly.
Okay? If it's your fault...
What's next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda, at the time that I wrote the notes, the Xbox... what's it called? Hold on. I must open it. The Xbox adaptive controller was leaked. It was leaked, and some people were making fun of it, like, "Oh, what's up with that?" But then, like the next day, they officially announced it. They put out a couple videos, one of which, you get a little tear in your eye when you see the little kid smile, or not the little kid, he's like a teenager, but he has like a traumatic brain injury.
Whatever, man.
And he like smiles at the end, and you're just like, the feels. But it's a controller for people who have limited mobility. And if you watch the videos, this is this kind of stuff that like organizations like Able Gamer, who else? Who is it? Oh, well, I thank you, Aaron Black, the gunslinger. Organizations like Able Gamer. There's like a organization that was made by like a vet for other vets that had traumatic injuries to make these sorts of controllers. And now a first party is supporting this, and it supports tons of plugs. It's got like 19 ports that can be plugged into. Everything is programmable for people who have, like one of the guys in the video, he's like, I have cerebral palsy. My left hand, is fine. His right hand, he's going like this. He's like, it's not so much. Like, I can't control a controller. But now he can use his left hand with like a little, like, sort of like a nunchuck type thing from the Wii U, or from the Wii, as like a one-handed controller. And then he can use the other buttons on the adaptive controller as he needs.
Right.
And there was, there's a guy who he was born with only one hand. And he was able to do stuff now with the adaptive controller. There was, there were a couple other people. There were people with traumatic injuries. Like I said, the one kid, he's a twin. And there's like a co-op mode that you can put in there now. And so you play together. So the person who has more dexterity is able to maybe move the controller and the camera. And then the person who doesn't have as much physical control, then maybe they shoot. Maybe they can hit the buttons. Great. And it's completely customizable. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I kind of wish I knew somebody with a handicap that I could buy him one.
Yeah. In a way, I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Spencer actually tries to go to some of the insurance companies and say, hey, look, this could be like it's a mix of like mental and physical therapy for some of these people. Maybe you could help cover it.
You're talking about like getting the controller and develop hand-eye coordination?
Well, or, for people who have, whatever disability they have, whether it's from an injury or from birth, but it's still like physical therapy for them to move around and do stuff. And it's also mental therapy to like play with friends and do stuff and be engaged and have a good time.
Yeah, dude. Who needs one of those, what they call those, emotional support pets? You just play Xbox.
Right. And it works with PC. So that's great too, because it's an Xbox controller. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either at $100. But
it's not bad, dude.
It's not bad. And then the other accessories.
It's a modular controller unit. I mean, the regular, like the custom controllers, they're like $80. And that's just to have your name on it. Now you have to customize it for your handicap, $20 more. It's kind of a big deal. That's not bad.
No, it's not. Now, I do know a guy that I play with on Xbox Live now and then. His gamer tag is Beasted by One Hand. And I've watched him on Twitch. He literally has to play with one hand because he had something happen to him that's kind of like a stroke, so he doesn't have the motion in his other hand. But dude, this guy is like a beast at first-person shooters, at fighting games. You would never believe that he only is using one hand on a controller. But so he's taught himself how to do that, so I don't even know if that would be useful for him, but you never know.
Yeah,
I think it's a good option.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know. There might be a different game mode, whatever. The point is, Xbox went and did the research for this. And yeah, you can be cynical and say, well, yeah, because they're just trying to get more people to buy Xboxes. Okay, so gamers want to play video games, and now Microsoft made it easier for them. So I'm just trying to cut that one off at the pass because this is the internet we're talking about here, and there's always going to be somebody with a shitty opinion. I think it's pretty rad.
I do too. I think it's great. And there were people making fun of it. And again, to those people, I say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, fuck off. So, talking about controllers, by the way, and this is sort of not related to the modular. What is it called?
The adaptive controller.
The adaptive controller. I just read today that the Oculus Go, which I bought one a couple weeks ago, you can actually sync the Xbox controller with it. I didn't realize that. It comes with its own like little thing, but you can actually sync the Xbox controller to the Oculus Go.
Yeah, I know that it was either Oculus or the HTC, like the actual full-sized one, came with an Xbox controller.
Oh, it's the Oculus. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because Facebook, right? So Facebook's always had a sort of relationship with Microsoft because Microsoft invested in them early on.
Right.
That's why, like, I don't know if they still do, but they were using Bing Maps and stuff like that. And so, did you put? Yeah, you didn't share the list with me. Did you put E3 on it at all? I don't know.
On the notes.
Yeah, on the notes.
Oh well, no, but I figured we'd talk about it because it's only a week away anyway.
Yeah. So if we're gonna hang out for that, you'll have to check out the Oculus.
Okay.
I'm gonna write a blog post about it. About how I'm gonna compare it to the Daydream. Because it's basically got a mobile processor. I went and looked at the specs. Yeah, I was a little surprised at the specs. I also didn't realize it was running Android. But it's basically like a high-end last year sort of spec with a really high-resolution screen, not 4K, but pretty close, or like half.
Maybe like
so
1440, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So you'll have to check that out. Maybe we could talk about that.
Awesome.
Later on.
So Xbox Adaptive Controller, great idea. I'm happy
Yep.
that a first party is doing something like this. I hope that Sony and Nintendo decide to do similar, or even say let it work with their consoles, one or the other.
Sony will never do that.
I know.
Sony won't even let
might.
crossplay, even though Microsoft and shit are like, yeah, no, totally, let's do crossplay, and Sony's like, nope.
Yeah. So speaking of Sony, next topic. Who was it? Was he the CEO of Sony? No, the PlayStation boss in an investor call. He said that the PlayStation 4 is entering the end of its life cycle. This is something we figured. It's been out since, oh God, it's 5 years now. Then they expect profits and sales to start declining starting this year. Which, obvious, okay? It's been out for so long that almost everyone who wants one probably has one by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Looks like your thing froze up again.
Oh, really? I'm
Nope,
seeing...
there it goes. Nope.
Oh, okay.
The stream was buffering and then it was fine.
Oh, okay.
So what does that mean then? Like, they're not going to be trying to improve the console through software updates?
No, it's not that. It was basically they're saying that get ready for the PS5, but not right away. They're saying it's entering the end of its life cycle. It's not there.
But they had to say something to account for what they project are going to be declining sales
and profits. Yes.
Right. So they basically. Well, here's what I think. Well, here's what I wonder. I don't have a thought about it yet. But like, if the Xbox One, and by the way, pre E3, first time ever, Xbox One X is on sale at a discount, $50 off.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they're concerned that Microsoft will be able to really keep some blood pumping through the Xbox One console through software updates, backwards compatibility. All this different stuff, and that maybe there'll be a certain point where, as the PS4 declines, profitability and sales, maybe that's where the Xbox One X will shine for a little while. Maybe they're like, just give you a heads up. It's because it's we're working on the next thing.
It's also that, and it's that. All right, God of War's come out. Next is Spider-Man, and then you've got Days Gone, and then Last of Us Part 2. And that's it. Like, as far as the big Sony and Ghost of Tsushima, I guess, and whatever, Death Stranding, if it actually makes it out on the PS4. But basically what they're saying is there's no big franchise, no big Sony first-party stuff coming out after these games for the PS4. And they mentioned a date. They said that they were going to crouch down so that in March of 2021... they could stand tall again. Now, some people have, I think, erroneously thought that this meant that they were saying that the PS5 was going to launch in March of 2021. I'm still thinking the end of 2020. But what I think is that what they're basically saying there is that the next major first party, what they hope is a blockbuster, is probably not going to be releasing until March of 2021. That could be the next Uncharted game, the next Horizon game, the next God of War, whatever. Right. But that's what I'm thinking. Because I don't really think that Sony wants to launch in March because their fiscal year ends in March. And launching at the end of your fiscal year doesn't help your profits. Whereas launching in November, you still have like 5 months, 4 months.
Right, because you want to get if you are launching what's expected to be a major IP, you want to give that a few months to make the sales. Like, you're going to have like the spike, and then it dwindles off, but that's still some profit that could be counted for that fiscal year.
Exactly.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that, but I typically tend to not follow Sony stuff just because I've got limited time, and if for nothing else. What has been piquing my interest, but I will not be getting a PS4. But that Detroit game, it's a Cyberpunk game, so naturally I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on there. But I'm not buying another. And if I did buy another console, I'd get another Xbox for the basement. so I can at least play all the same games that I already own.
Right.
I'm not buying a whole new library of games. Just nah, fuck that.
Oh, speaking of buying something, did you hear what's coming back?
Apparently what, the Duke controller?
No.
I didn't get that yet, but I mean to. I plan on it.
And it's only $80, I think. It's not even $100.
Yeah, it's not expensive. I bought the Oculus Go, and then I bought like the Google Pixel earbuds. So I sort of feel like I've maxed out with the toys.
Yeah.
But,
no, well, Nintendo is re-releasing the NES Classic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, whoa, really?
I'll just buy a Raspberry Pi and then put emulators on it. Fuck you, assholes. Because what they'll probably do, and if they don't do it, fine. But at this point, I almost kind of don't care. Really wanted to get one for my wife. I've said this before, probably on the show. They hyped it up. Everybody wanted one. They're like, oh, so sorry. We only have like 5.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you make more? I don't understand.
Yeah, we only made 10.
Yeah. So you seriously, like, this thing is clearly, you didn't know it was going to be popular. Like, you do no market research. You have no clue. Like, no clue at all. You're like a major corporation.
Yeah.
This is how you make money. You had no idea. Okay.
And the nostalgia factor alone, they should have known that was going to be able to sell millions of copies. Nostalgia
factor plus, I mean, nostalgia
and the value.
Those are all great games. I would love to play the original Zelda, Metroid. I guess it's nostalgia, but they're also just really good games.
Right, and the value, $60, 30 games.
Yeah, yeah.
In this little tiny thing that you can take with you to your friend's house if you want to. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. It's portable. It's fun. You know what? Maybe Nintendo this time could make more than 2 of them. And also make the controller cord longer, dicks.
That was like the biggest complaint about the people that actually got them was, that controller cord is really short.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't 1986, man. People aren't playing like 2 inches away from their TV anymore. They're comfy. They're like 10, 15, like 10 feet away from their couch.
Oh, God, do you remember we used to play the N64 wrestling games? We were like literally 2 feet from my TV screen.
Yeah. Yeah,
4 of us.
And was it the
N64?
Was the N64 the one, or was that the one that had the cable? Like if you accidentally walked into the cable, it would like detach.
No, that was the Xbox, the original Xbox.
The original Xbox had that. Okay,
and the new Duke controller still has that.
Oh, does it? Yeah, yes. I will get that. And there's a nostalgia factor because the Duke when it came out, I think a lot of people kind of trashed it. It was very binary. People either loved it or hated it. I'm sure Microsoft had the forethought to make enough so that if a bunch of people wanted to go buy them, they could go get them.
It's actually a third party making it, but it's
it's blessed by Microsoft.
Right, and it's the guy. He's one of the guys that brought the Xbox to fruition at Microsoft. Like it's his company that's making it.
Yeah. Because when they went on sale, I went and looked them up, and it was like some other company. I'm like, oh, this isn't like the official Xbox One. And I went and looked it up. I realized it was this guy partnered up with Microsoft to kind of go make them. I'm looking. And it all
started as a joke. There's actually a really good video that IGN put out where Ryan McCafferty sits down with this guy, and they talk about the Duke controller. Well, they talk about his time at Microsoft, and then of course the Duke controller. And he talks about how the Duke controller came about and everything else like that. And it's actually really good. It's like an hour long, really good. I would suggest you sit down and watch it.
Yeah, so it's 148.
Is it 150?
Yeah, it's $148, and it's only got 2 reviews on Amazon. It only got a 1 star. I wonder what people complained about.
Probably the size.
People are charging way too much for this. It's the price point.
Oh, you know what? I don't think that's the actual MSRP though. I think the actual MSRP is only $80.
Yeah, maybe it's Hyperkin though.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's only. I don't get it. Yeah, Hyperkin. There's only one of them on here.
Yeah, so that's the thing with the Sony stuff is that basically I think they're trying to tell their investors, yes, profits are going to go down. Sales are going to go down. We expect this. We will be releasing the PS5. They just haven't said when. But when they mentioned the 2021, March 2021, I'm thinking not the PS5 releases then, but that the their next big franchise will release then. So I think the PS5 will actually release at the end of 2020.
What about if they just announce another exclusivity deal, something like with Grand Theft Auto or something else like that? No, you don't think so?
Well, no, I don't think they would wait till 2021 for that though.
Yeah. Oh, you can get it for $70 at GameStop.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought it was, 70 to 80. It's not a bad price.
No.
So yeah, I think they're still going to do that. I think it's still going to have a Zen processor, probably a 4-core, 8-thread. We talked about this before. Like I think 16 gigs of RAM, that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
they have to wait until they want to use Navi apparently, and Navi's not out yet. So obviously they have to wait. And I think 2020 is about the time that'll happen. And Microsoft is going to be using extremely similar architecture. So same time frame, I say, for Microsoft. But now E3, 1 week away.
I'm excited.
We're probably gonna do. Last year we got together at your place and we watched on your 4K TV the Microsoft press conference on Sunday, and we kind of tuned in a little bit into the Bethesda one, right?
Yeah, except last year I have a 4K TV, but I didn't have a 4K Xbox.
Now you do.
Now I do, and they'll probably be doing it in 4K on the Xbox app or whatever their
Mixer.
live events app.
The Mixer will be there. It'll be on Mixer too.
Oh yeah, right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to it. So let me just give me like what are you most looking forward to? Like what do you got in mind for it?
For E3 itself, see, it's hard to say. On Microsoft's side, there's not really much because we don't know much. They haven't really let anything sort of out. Although there was that leak on the Canadian Walmart page that was showing like Gears 5, the new Forza Horizon. Although everybody expects Forza Horizon this year. A new Splinter Cell was there. And that's been rumored for the past couple months that Splinter Cell might be coming back. As far as Sony's goes, they've already announced like their main things is going to be Spider-Man, Days Gone, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima is what they're doing. And out of those, I'm excited for Spider-Man and Last of Us Part 2, but I'm not expecting Last of Us Part 2 this year to be released. I think that's going to be next year. Especially because Spider-Man is coming out in September, so that's kind of like halfway through the year. For Microsoft, at this point, if they don't announce like a concrete date for Crackdown 3, I don't know if anyone's even going to care about it anymore at that point.
Yeah.
They're going to have to announce something. They apparently started a new studio, so they're going to have to at least announce what that studio is working on. And they brought in... He was like creative director for the Tomb Raider games, the two most recent ones. And then he went to Activision as like a creative something there. And now he's like the head of this new studio. So that gives me a little bit of hope because those last two Tomb Raider games were pretty good.
Right.
So it's just hard to say with what Microsoft is gonna do. Nintendo.
On the Microsoft thing, the first thing that jumps to mind immediately is Halo 6.
They've already said no Halo this year.
They said no Halo? I thought it...
No Halo at E3. The only thing that got released for Halo was that thing at Dave & Buster's.
You're killing me with this crap.
Yeah. So there might be Gears 5. There definitely will be Horizon Motorsport, or Forza Horizon will definitely be there. Other than that, it's kind of iffy as to what else there could be besides Crackdown. And it's like, look, if Crackdown doesn't impress people at this E3, it's going to be another Sea of Thieves. It's going to be something you get on Game Pass and check out, and then you say, okay, fine, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm holding out hope, by the way. I'm holding out hope for Halo 6.
Yeah, I really doubt
surprised,
it.
man.
They might do a teaser, but they're not going to announce that it's coming out this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm on Halo Waypoint right now, and on the forums they're saying that 343 apparently did make an announcement. There's no Halo at E3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what Microsoft has then.
Yeah. And as far as Nintendo goes, it's going to be the new Pokemon game for the Switch. Definitely is going to be there, I think. There was a leak that showed potentially Fortnite for the Switch, which could become like a killer app for the Switch as far as like portability goes. I think they're going to show off the new Smash Brothers. And I really think that's about it as far as first party. Maybe the new Yoshi's Yarn game or whatever it's called. And that's about it. I don't know what else Nintendo's going to do. But Nintendo's been being weird lately, but it's worked for them. You know, when they did that whole Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, then that's like that's all they showed for their entire E3 conference was Legend of Zelda. It worked. And look how many copies Legend of Zelda sold. For a while, it was like 94% of all Switch owners or something had The Legend of Zelda, which is a huge attach rate.
Right.
This year, I think it's going to be Smash Brothers. And that has a chance to be a huge success. I mean, Mario Kart's been a huge success. Mario Odyssey was a huge success. They've actually, with the Switch, they're hitting it again. Like, they're getting the sales of the units, and their first-party games are selling like hotcakes. You know, their Mario Kart, their Mario Odyssey, their Legend of Zelda. Those games have all sold massively. The new Donkey Kong Country remake is coming out. They're getting a lot of remakes from the Wii U, but in some of these cases, that's not a bad thing because, like, I got Bayonetta 2 for my Switch, but I wasn't buying a Wii U just for Bayonetta 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm happy that they're bringing over some of the more popular Wii U games to the Switch. I think they're also bringing over the Hyrule. It's kind of like the Dynasty Warriors, but you play in the Legend of Zelda universe. Hyrule Warriors, I think they call it.
Sure.
That's coming out. You know, so we'll see what happens.
So you got a lot of shit looking forward to. You got a whole long list of stuff.
Just a couple. Well, it's more like I have a couple things from each company. I've got Spider-Man, because I'm a Spider-Man fanboy. I've been a fan of Spider-Man since I was a little kid. You know what I mean? I remember watching the old 60s cartoon. You know, Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Even they kept recycling shit. They kept recycling animation. But
you didn't care. It was Spider-Man. It was awesome. And he had a great theme song. So Spider-Man I'm excited for. Days Gone I'm not really that excited for. But Last of Us Part 2. But I don't expect that to come out till next year. And then Xbox, it's like, you know, let's hope Crackdown 3 looks good. And then hopefully see what this new studio is going to be bringing. And maybe Gears 5. If Gears 5 looks good, that could be a good thing too.
So because of the Game Pass, I have access to Gears 4. And I started to play it. And I just couldn't get into it. Like, I probably will go back and try to beat the campaign.
It's not bad, but it's a little slower in the beginning. The campaign is definitely a little slower in the beginning.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm just sort of like, Well, I am still holding out hope for Halo 6. Mm-hmm. I think it's very easy for 343 to say, nope, just to throw a red herring.
Right, yeah.
But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. But I'm looking forward to that eagerly. I suppose that the next thing I'd be excited for, I'm curious about Crackdown, but I actually forgot about it until you mentioned it. That's one of those novelty games. That's not like.
And it's also been the problem that they announced it like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and then they pushed it back. We'll see. And since it comes out on the Game Pass, we'll just get it no matter what.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Bethesda, or is it Bethesda, is able to do with Anthem.
No, it's
is that
EA.
Ubisoft? Ubisoft, yeah. These names.
No, that's EA and BioWare.
Is what, Anthem?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Division 2, though, is Ubisoft.
I'm like, oh yeah, Bethesda, Ubisoft. Let me just get on the whole list. Nintendo.
Yeah. Division 2 is Ubisoft, though, so that could be interesting because the Division, it was one of those games that improved massively over its lifetime.
I heard that.
If they actually say it's worth getting back into now.
Well, so a little story on that. So I went my wife's festival I was wearing my Warframe T-shirt, and I went there to pick up some stuff at the event, and there was a guy. He's like, "Warframe, brother." I was like, "Hey, that's pretty random." So he came up, and he was talking about how the Division 2 is a completely different game. There's so many different game types, and when they released like whatever the patches in the Underground, which I did buy, I never played it. He just said like there's so much to do, and the game is so much better than when it launched.
They added in a whole new area, the upper east side piers, I think, or west side piers. It's just, I mean, you know how like in the main game you could run around for like a long time and not run into enemies?
Right.
Okay, no, these dudes repop in like 30 seconds, and they're high level, and they drop good shit, and there's challenges to do. It's a cool little area to go in. It's definitely a neat area, and that was added for free.
Interesting. Yeah, I might download it, but there's so many like right now I'm still playing like Fortnite,
State of Decay 2,
State of Decay 2, and we got a co-op on that. Plus we would do duos on Fortnite. Plus I'm still playing Warframe, and there's so many games now. And then I got my whole list of games that I just want to finish that are first player. Like I still have Alien, whatever.
Oh, Alien. It's not Resurrection. Alien. That really good one
where you play Ripley's daughter.
Yeah.
I haven't finished that. I have,
but that was such a good game when I played of it over at your place.
Yeah.
I might actually buy that. I might buy that.
What is it?
I might buy that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap now, and you can get the whole package now probably for like under $20 or something. But then there's Outlast 2, which I'm not even dragging my feet on that. I just play for like 20 minutes, and I get too freaked out and stop. I have like 10 games that are like single player that I want to finish just for the completion. So Anthem, I hope doesn't suck.
There's a lot of people that hope it doesn't suck, but you never know.
Right. There's potential there, and the reason I hope it doesn't suck is because I want it to fill that void that Destiny left. Because I think that Destiny has the components of a fun game, but it's grindy. And like we're not gonna revisit that whole list, but like if Bungie fucked it up,
right? And
I have no interest in playing it. So, but I like that style, like that open world persistent shooter thing. That concept is great, and just like everyone says ad nauseum, right where Bungie left off at the finally with the final updates to Destiny 1, that I went back and played it after all the updates, after Taken King, and I actually was like, oh man, this is great. This is a really good game now. I mean, I didn't hate it the first time. It just got boring, and then it was so much more fun. And then I'm just not going to go down there. But so I'm kind of hoping Anthem can step in, especially because two things. Destiny has really cool. It's a really well designed game. Like it looks really good. The costumes are really cool, and that and then of course the gameplay itself is pretty good. I'm kind of hoping Anthem has that because the what they call the javelins, the suits of armor,
right?
They look awesome. I love being able to like fly. I just kind of hope that the gameplay is good and that the world building is there, right? Like I want to go in and have a cool story and get invested in it, and kind of I love that. I mean, Jesus, for both Halo and Gears of War, I read all the books. You know what I mean? If I don't know if these developers understand this, if you can get and create and fully flesh out a whole world with characters and stories and mythos, that's
the world building is very important if you want to make a franchise,
right? So Anthem I'm looking forward to. I guess really I'm kind of hoping E3 will just surprise me. I'm kind of hoping.
What about with Bethesda and that Fallout 76 that they've teased?
Fallout 76, I don't well, I love Fallout, and so I understand it's rumors are it's going to be some sort of online game.
That's the rumors, but we don't know yet. Yeah,
it's the rumor. There's one guy who leaked it, who later went back on Reddit, and I don't know who he is, and I can't even tell you his name, but he was like really adamant. He's like, my sources are good, my sources are solid. If you think you're getting another single player game, prepare to be disappointed. Okay, so I don't care. All I
have to say is please update the engine because good God, they've been using that same engine since Fallout 3.
Did you watch Did you watch the video?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Don't
get excited. It looks exactly like.
Come
like
on.
So yeah, it would be nice, but in the same token, I love Fallout. I'll take one more game with the engine. Who am I kidding? I'll take a couple more, well, like maybe one more big
Come on,
one.
they got that the id Tech engine
I mean, I would love
for
it if
Doom.
Rage 2 that I
Yeah, I
want more
heard
too.
about. Yeah, that's coming out.
But yeah, no. So I mean, I love the world of Fallout so much that yeah, I would love a new engine, whatever. If it, I'll take what I can get. I don't. The way they're making it sound like it's not like an MMO. It's just like a sort of game you can go online with and do what.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to do battle royale.
right.
Quite frankly, I'm already at my limit. Like I don't love the genre so much that I want to play more iterations of it. Fortnite's good. Love Fortnite. Stick with Fortnite. Once I get tired of
PUBG,
Fortnite,
PUBG's okay. You're like, that's it. 2 games is all I can do for battle royale.
yeah. So I'm curious to see what that is. I'm very curious for Anthem. Like to see something for Crackdown, but I basically just want to be surprised. I'm kind of hoping maybe we get a teaser for. I know this is radical. GTA 6, something. I really doubt that. In fact, I doubt that way more than Halo
we
6.
do know that Red Dead Redemption 2 should have a big showing somewhere at E3 because it comes
Yeah,
out in October.
I guess that totally rules out GTA 6 completely.
Yeah,
With Red Dead 2. Yeah, there's no way in hell that would actually be dumb.
yeah, because then they
That'd be
kill
dumb.
sales for.
Yeah. That would be like you don't step on your own franchise like that. Are you like is Red Dead like an insta sale for you?
Oh yes, yes. I actually loved Red Dead Revolver, which was on the original Xbox,
Right.
and then Red Dead Redemption, or yeah, Red Dead Redemption. I love that. I played that forever, and then when the zombie mode came out, which was awesome, the Undead Nightmare, which was like, here's a whole new story of you in the Old West in the zombie apocalypse, which was amazingly fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 for me is an instant buy. There's no question about it. I might even that might be one that I actually get on both the PS4 and the Xbox to be able to do like comparison videos,
Jesus.
but I don't
When's
know.
When's that come out? Do you know? Because I'm looking it up on the Xbox app right now.
October, I believe.
October.
October 7th. I want to say
so
October.
much- And I'm still playing on the 5th, which is what's today, the 4th.
Yes.
So tomorrow, Elder Scrolls Online has a new big update that I pre-ordered. That comes out tomorrow. There's so much crap to play, dude. But I'm actually going to check out Red Dead because it keeps going on sale, Red Dead Redemption, and I'm like, maybe I'll get it.
I still have my disc. I can just pop it in, and they Xbox One X enhanced that, right?
I do know that. Yes,
Yeah.
I do know that.
And people say the enhancement is actually really good, and it gets up to native 4K resolution. I think. Which for your TV is great. For mine, super sampling.
Yeah, I've been telling my wife that it's about time that we start looking for a newer TV with HDR. She doesn't understand why, and I'm like, next time you want to go buy new yoga pants, I'll ask you why you can't wear any one of your 5,000 previous pair. Then ask me why I want a new TV.
Right. You know what it is, though? You know what you have to do? Is you're going to have to take her into someplace like Best Buy or something and do what we did when we went up for that Xbox One X event and go in and look at the televisions that have the HDR, like compared to televisions that don't, and in that darker area, and show her this is why you want HDR.
Yeah, and I think she might get it. I mean, in some way, she kind of knows already. It's kind of pointless. If I really want to get one, I'm going to get it. But I'm just trying to be fair.
I will put a little bit of money aside, and I will get it anyway.
Well, the thing is, and here's the thing. I'm not going to get it this year anyway because we're going to Europe, which is the main reason why I didn't get the PC was because it would be too expensive. Look, all that money could go
especially
to
right
Europe.
now, dude. The video cards, they're coming down. They're coming back down, but they're still expensive. But RAM is so fucking expensive right now. You don't even know. I got lucky when
You're right. I don't because I haven't spec'd it out.
Yeah, when I got my 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM at the price I got it for, it's like easily double that right now. And I got it at like almost $200, I want to say. So you're looking at like, if you want to get like a good amount of RAM, so you're kind of future proofing yourself, you're looking at like $300 to $400 in RAM.
Yeah, I figured it was gonna be expensive to do that.
And that's just wrong at this point. Like the RAM prices have to come down.
Yeah, so and that's why mentioned the Oculus Rift earlier. I bought the Oculus Go. I bought that because it was only $250. And then I will get the VR fix that I wanted. And I'm actually kind of glad I got the Go because some of the social integration stuff. We can talk about that on another episode, maybe after you've tried it. But I like the social integration stuff. So yeah, so I guess I don't have much that I'm excited about for E3. I mean, I'm just excited for E3 because E3, but I'm also just sort of hoping that there was Cyberpunk 2077. That's the other big thing. That's actually the main thing.
That's a weird one because CD Projekt Red has been kind of hush-hush about whether they're actually going to be showing anything off of it.
No. They said there is, in fact, they verified they're definitely going to be showing some stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because that's a game. One, we used to play the Cyberpunk 2070, or what was it, 2040 or 2020? The old role-playing game. Tabletop. Yeah. We used to play those when we were younger. We know what the whole Cyberpunk world, I guess we can call it, universe is like. We're fans of Blade Runner, stuff like that. So Cyberpunk 2077 again, and CD Projekt Red, they're like Epic to me. They're a studio that, as of yet, has not done me any wrong, to where I will support them almost immediately upon them announcing something.
Yeah.
They've been consumer friendly. Their game, like The Witcher 3, is phenomenal.
Yeah, plus their website, Good Old Games, and they have the whole thing about DRM. They're like,
exactly.
And they make fun of DRM in The Witcher.
Yeah, which is
no, they seem to kind of get it, and Cyberpunk, so it's kind of a win-win there. I try to imagine, like, if there was a developer I could pick to create like a Cyberpunk world, you know what I mean? Like, and say, oh, well, if you could have an open-world RPG, I'd think, well, The Witcher was awesome. Could they make the Cyberpunk game? And so this is perfect.
Right. It's like that perfect storm just coming together.
Yeah, it would either be probably CD Projekt Red or probably Rockstar.
Right.
But Rockstar, while they do great parody and stuff like that, at the same time, I mean, the games look great, but there's just something about The Witcher that has so much detail. It's a toss-up, but
it's the world building. The world building that they did, like we said, the world building they did in The Witcher from the first two games into the third one, and then just what they did just with the third one alone. It's one of, if not the greatest game of this generation.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that Red Dead Redemption's just $10? I thought it was more than that on Xbox.
No, most of the backwards compatible games are only $10.
Shit.
Like I could have found my Crimson Skies disc, but I didn't feel like looking for it, so I bought that, and that was only $10. I happen to have my Skate 3 disc like sitting right on top of my PS3 over there, so that was easy enough to put into my Xbox. So I have that, and that's X enhanced. Actually, Red Dead Redemption I have too. It's already on my Xbox.
Yeah, I'm gonna go download it. In fact, I'm gonna do that. Do we have anything else to talk about? Because I want to go get that now.
No, I don't really think so. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
All right.
And we
were talking about live streaming somehow our reaction to some of the E3 stuff.
Yeah, probably the Microsoft conference, because that's on a Sunday, and I think Bethesda's is the same day, right?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the schedule. I have no clue what the schedule is.
Yeah, we should check the schedule, because those two, we work during the week. We're not going to see the stuff on Monday when it airs live, but the Sunday stuff we can do. We can have pizza, we can have beer, or yep. I can bring the alcoholic Mountain Dew I have. We'll be real gamers. We'll be drinking alcohol in Mountain Dew. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, man.
Then we just need alcoholic Doritos, and we're all set.
Alcoholic or THC laced Doritos.
Yeah, like pot laced Doritos. Yo, man. So, anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for those of you who chatted. It was good talking to everyone. So hopefully we'll see you next Sunday. What time did they say it was for the Microsoft thing? We're East Coast.
I can look it up.
Yeah, we're East Coast, so it'll be like mid-afternoon for us. I want to say like 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm trying to look in real quick. I don't really the numbers. Oh, here we go. So yeah, EA Saturday, June 9th. Is that okay? So EA
That's
is going to
Saturday.
do, yeah. So they're going to do their thing Saturday. I'll probably watch that. Microsoft 1 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be at 4.
Okay, that's not
Bethesda
bad.
will be, yeah, Bethesda will be late. It'll be like 9:30.
Don't worry, but that's starting to push it for us old men who have work in the morning.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, but
oh my god, we got to get to bed. You young
yeah, might be able to catch a little
whippersnapper.
bit of that. But the Microsoft one's the one I'm really excited for, and that'll be at 4 o'clock. So that's perfect.
Yeah, and so we'll try to live stream that. I think there's a way we could actually do it, like with your tablet and one of our phones, type deal. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Sam,
I'm Bill.
and we will catch you guys later.
Later.